Hello viewers, you're watching Prophecy Analysis.
But what took over next year is ritual.
I hold an neck and I did what I had to do, and that was it.
Met American, he butchered her into pieces.
America should get ready for a terrible, serious natural disaster that has never happened before.
This huge fire, 700 acres plus.
Residents have described the firestorm as apocalyptic.
I saw toad. This toad I saw is bigger than human size.
Hello viewers, you're watching Prophecy Analysis. I'm Hanibi Saliu, and with me here is
Abiodun Olajimi.
Olumakiwa Aaron.
So today we're going to be doing a prophecy analysis of some of the prophecy for the year, which has already begun to unfold. On the 1st of January 2025, the man of God prophet O.E. Aminu gave a word of prophecy, saying he saw toads that are bigger than the size of a man, flying in the air. And because of that, any other thing that tries to fly in the air is being attacked. These were his words.
You know what they call a toad? You know what a toad is? I saw toad. This toad I saw is bigger than human size. And this toad was flying in the air. And all of a sudden I saw that there were many flying in the air. And because they were flying in the air, any other thing that tries to fly in the air is being attacked. Sir, it's an attack from the pit of hell. It's an attack from the kingdom of darkness. These are demons. Demons have been released. And then you will hear both international and local. That happened to that airline, this happened to that airline, that happened to that airline, this happened to that airline. It is orchestrated from the kingdom of darkness.
Welcome back. 60 passengers, 4 crew, and 3 military service members are presumed dead after an American Airlines regional jet collided with an Army Black Hawk helicopter last night on final approach to runway 33 at Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. when the mid-air collision occurred. Both of the aircraft crashed into the icy waters of the Potomac River, leading to a major search and rescue operation involving hundreds of first responders.
WL Louisiana News at noon.
New video shows the moment an American Airlines plane and a military helicopter collided mid-air last night in Washington, D.C. Good afternoon to you. I'm Brandon Walker. Officials say 60 passengers and 4 crew members were aboard the plane, 3 soldiers aboard the helicopter. All 67 of them are believed dead as crews continue to search the river for victims.
That happened to that airline, this happened to that airline, that happened to that airline, this happened to that airline. Demons have been released. And then you will hear both international and local. And then you will hear both international and local.
Let's turn our attention now to the aviation sector, where United States flag carrier United Airlines flight UA 613 outbound from Lagos to Washington has declared an emergency and returned to Lagos.
What do you think about this plane crash?
Thank you very much, Hanibi. First off, before we begin to analyze the recent plane crash that happened in the Washington, D.C. in America, let's take our time to appreciate God for using his servant to speak to us all throughout the year, giving us pointers, giving us words that we'll run with even as we begin the year. If we see that even in the month of January, most of the prophecies our Father gave us, most of them have started coming true. My impressions, basically, when you look at what happened in America on Wednesday, specifically on the 29th of January, where, according to what we just listened to in the news, where the two aircrafts crashed mid-air. It's funny how something like that can happen in a country as developed as America. Because if there's any sector that the United States takes care of, pays their attention, and spends a lot of money to make sure nothing goes wrong, is the aviation sector. So for something like this to happen, it's something that is beyond their control. Because if you look at how this air crash happened, what are the odds, what are the possibilities of having two aircraft colliding mid-air? If you look at the prophecy of our Father, it says these are things that are sponsored. There's a force behind it.
That happened to that airline, this happened to that airline, that happened to that airline, this happened to that airline. It is orchestrated from the kingdom of darkness.
It is not natural for two aircraft to just clash mid-air. It's something beyond, because we have technology that will help us.
But having this happen shows that it is clearly out of their control. It is clearly out of their control. I can remember, like we watching the video, God's servant saying these frogs, or these toads flying in the air are actually demons.
I saw toad. This toad I saw is bigger than human size. And this toad was flying in the air. It's an attack from the kingdom of darkness. These are demons. Demons have been released.
You understand? So no matter how they try to come and try to decipher what really must have happened, yeah, it must have some physical explanations, might have some logical explanations, but it is still not physical. It is still not logical in the broad scheme of things, because that shouldn't happen. And this has not happened in America for about 16 years. So 16 years, going back 16 years to now 16 years after, with the level of improvement in technology, growth and advancement. And then our Father also said that this situation is something that will be happening both locally and internationally.
Demons have been released. And then you will hear both international and local. That happened to that airline, this happened to that airline, that happened to that airline, this happened to that airline.
Let's turn attention now to the aviation sector, where United States flag carrier United Airlines flight UA613 outbound from Lagos to Washington has declared an emergency and returned to Lagos. Report revealed that several passengers and crew aboard the aircraft, that's a Boeing 7878, sustained minor injuries. The flight, which had 245 passengers, 8 flight attendants, and 3 pilots, made a direct return to the Murtala Mohammed International Airport.
Okay, so what are the possibilities of two planes colliding mid-air? Not just in any other country, but a country like America.
I'll tell you that the possibility of two aircraft crashing is very, very minimal. Because if you look at the aviation sector generally, for an air crash to occur, there are several causes. One of them might be mechanical failure, another might be pilot error. Some of these causes might be either as a result of weather or communication with the air traffic control. But if you look at this particular air crash, none of these errors was actually pinpointed. Because if you look at the video that they played for us just recently, you discover that it was like a head-on collision mid-air between two aircraft. That means both of them must have been in communication with the air traffic control, because it was reported that one of the aircraft, that is the military aircraft, the pilot in person is an experienced pilot. So this is not an error coming from him. Also, the weather was fine, because the footage we just looked at, the weather was perfect. It was good for aviation work. It was good for flight. So taking out these causes, you will discover that there is more to this aircraft that is beyond the human eye, beyond the physical. Because according to the prophecy of our father, it says there are powers sponsoring these things behind the scene. Because this air crash that happened, putting all together all these causes, you discover that all these causes, they are not actually what happened, what led to this air crash. It is something that is beyond their control, because even up till now, they are still looking for information as to how this air crash happened.
You know, while you were talking, something was popping in my mind, and then I began to say, what force led to two aircraft following
the same
route at the same time? You know, one a commercial aircraft, the other a military aircraft. You understand what I'm saying? What influenced them to be in the same path at that time? I also did a research on that, and then an aviation expert who trains more than 200 pilots in a year, just 1 year, said the possibilities of this happening is 1 out of 100 million chances.
Wow.
And America records an average of 48 million flights in a year. So that means they have gone years, and I think statistics says it is 16 years that this kind of they've had
similar cases.
They've had plane crashes, but two crafts colliding. You know what I'm saying? The odds are very, very, very slim, very, very slim, and that is getting me to really, really see it in this light, that there are spiritual forces that might have influenced this possibility
Definitely
to happen.
It's an attack from the kingdom of darkness. These are demons. Demons have been released.
This particular air crash that we are discussing about is more than a coincidence. Because if you look at how it happened, it is not a coincidence. It is something that is beyond the physical. Because the chances of two aircraft at the same time, I tell you that if the first passenger aircraft took off probably 5 minutes before that, this thing can be avoided.
Yes.
So this goes to say that the word of the prophet will not go without coming to pass, because it is not his word. It is the word of God.
You know, sometimes when we hear prophecies like this, we may think, okay, maybe one big airline will have that issue. But then he talked about different airlines having these cases, both locally and internationally.
Welcome back. 60 passengers, 4 crew, and 3 military service members are presumed dead after an American Airlines regional jet collided with an Army Black Hawk helicopter last night on final approach to runway 33 at Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. when the mid-air collision occurred. Both of the aircraft crashed into the icy waters of the Potomac River, leading to a major search and rescue operation involving hundreds of first responders.
Let's turn our attention now to the aviation sector, where United States flag carrier United Airlines flight UA613 outbound from Lagos to Washington has declared an emergency and returned to Lagos.
I'll still go back again to say, you know, there's no way in the world you can guess this. So there's no way in the world you can just, just use your fingers and wrap your mind around this kind of event happening, unless God reveals it to you.
What's your advice to some of our viewers who don't believe in prophecy? I know some people might be out there, they will be saying this is a guesswork, they don't believe in prophecy, they don't believe what we are saying. What's your advice to them?
My advice to most of our viewers that will be watching this broadcast now is they should believe the word of God. They should believe the word of the servant, because most of the words he gave, if you look at the timing, it's just few hours, we are still in the month of January, and most of his prophecies for the year, they've started coming true. Because according to the book of Hebrews, it says, the word of God is quick and powerful.
You know, the word of God says we should not despise prophecy, right? And prophecy is, or the prophetic is God's way of helping us know what his mind is and what are the events that will happen before they actually happen. And then I think it's an opportunity for us to take advantage rather than criticize, rather than try to share. Take advantage and know how to order your steps aright. You understand? Know how to order your steps aright rather than criticize. Use it as an insight into how you should program yourself.